Welcome to the Nintendo Wiretap. I'm your host, Amiibo Jason, and on today's episode, we're taking a look at the 20th anniversary of one of the biggest franchises in video game history. That's right, Super Smash Bros. Is turning 20, so without further ado, let's take a look. Alright, on January 21st, 1999, exactly 20 years ago today in Japan, Super Smash Bros. Launched on the Nintendo 64. Now, back then the game wasn't nearly as big as it was today. In fact, it took another installment for the series to really take off, but the way that people look at Nintendo and its characters after that point was completely different. I mean, again, up until that point, Mario was saving the princess. Fox McCloud was, well, in his spaceship. Yoshi was, well, helping Mario save the princess. Again, up until that point, that's all we really knew. But when Smash Bros. Launched in 1999 on the N64, everything was different. I mean, these characters weren't just in their respective games anymore, they were duking it out. I mean, they were just fighting, and it was great. I mean, I was 11 years old when this game came out. I remember going to my neighbor's house, finding this game for the very first time, and just being blown away. And he showed me the character Ness for the very first time. I've never played Earthbound, and I'm like, who is this kid? And why is he shooting lightning? I had no clue. It was at that moment I fell in love with the fighting genre. I mean, I've never really played that kind of game before, but having Nintendo characters duke it out, it was completely different. And you might remember this depending on how old you are, but it had one of the best commercials of all time. I mean, I have a link in the description below if you want to see it, otherwise you can see it on the screen right here. But Super Smash Bros. Completely changed my opinion on what a video game could be, and I pretty much had to beg my parents to pick it up for me. Now, at that moment, I had no clue what kind of game this was going to turn into. I mean, when the game first came out, you had 8 characters to choose from: Mario, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Kirby, Link, Fox, Samus, and Pikachu. But technically, you could unlock 4 additional: Captain Falcon, Jigglypuff, Luigi, and Ness. But I never would have dreamed to see what this series would turn into. And luckily, we had very little time to wait, as less than 3 years later, Smash Bros. Melee ended up coming out on the GameCube, expanding the roster even further. But even past that, we had Brawl on the Wii, and Super Smash Bros. 4 ended up coming to the 3DS and, well, the Wii U. At that point, I realized that this series was something more than just my childhood memories. And when Nintendo introduced Amiibo, well, you know, the rest is kind of history. But here we are, 20 years later, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on the Nintendo Switch has over 70 characters. Not even just Nintendo characters. I mean, Sega's here, with not only Sonic, but Bayonetta. I mean, on top of that, you also have characters like Pac-Man, Mega Man, and who would have seen this one coming? Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. And with even more characters coming out, I'm just even more blown away by what this series has turned into over 20 years. This game has always been a labor of love, and the people behind it really deserve all of the praise in the world. Now, there's a lot of people celebrating this anniversary, and even Nintendo of Japan has tweeted an amazing image showing the box art from every game of the past 20 years. And really, seeing this image just reminds me of where I was when I was a kid, pretty much where I was when every one of these games came out. It's amazing to see just how far this series has come, and I can't wait to see where it's gonna go. But that's just my opinion. I want to know what you guys think of this game. Has it changed your life like it has mine? Give me your best memories of Smash in the comments down below. I can't wait to read them. But there you go, folks. Smash is 20 years old. It's amazing. But that's gonna wrap up tonight's Nintendo Wiretap. I'll see you tomorrow with yet another episode, but until then, you know the drill. Stay wired in. Bye, guys.